Hi everyone, thank you for joining us for this IoT-enabled commercial lighting SaaS webinar. Before we kick off with introductions, I'd like to provide some tips for those of you who are joining us for their first Industryland webinar. Firstly, welcome. Industryland is a series of webinars sharing 2 years SaaS, software as a service solutions and customer use cases. Secondly, from a housekeeping perspective, we will all be on mute for the duration of today's session, but that doesn't mean that we don't want to hear from you. If a question or a comment comes to mind at any point during today's session, please click on the Q&A icon at the bottom of the control screen, and we will pose your question to the experts at the end of today's session. We will also be recording today's session so you can watch it again at your own leisure or share it with your colleagues. Now, without further delay, let me introduce you to our speaker, Lawrence Lin. Lawrence is CEO and co-founder of StrongLED Smart Lighting. Lawrence has put together an introductory video for you on how lighting as a service needs to be meaningful, it needs to be relevant, and it needs to be really addressing customer needs.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Lawrence Lin, the CEO and the co-founder of the StrongLED Smart Lighting. The StrongLED Smart Lighting is a brand new lighting player which dedicates on the smart lighting. And we're doing the business in a very different way. We believe light can be a service. And how can we make it and how we define it? So I think there's two reasons to make us to be here, and make us to believe we can make it. So the first reason is the technology transformation. The LED is coming in the late 20th centuries and is booming in the last 2 decades. But before this, the traditional lighting, which is represented by the incandescent light, fluorescent light, and also the HID and the halogen, is already in the market and dominate the market for more than 120, 30 years. And we can define it as a traditional or analog lighting generation because all of them, the on-off time, the switch on-off time, at least will take the seconds and even minutes, so it cannot be digital. But LED is rising because of the long lifetime and also the energy saving. But also we have to see the potential of the LED is exactly the digitalization and the full spectrum. And the first step of the full spectrum was being found on the RGB, tunable, dimmable, very colorful solutions. But it's mostly for the outdoor and very entertainment stuff. And also StrongLED was very successful because of this in the last 20 years. We did many great projects and have a big success. But we're always thinking, what will be the next step for the lighting? And we believe if we can make light as a service and enable the smart to be meaningful and essential. So the smart would not only be something nice to have, it will be something essential. That's what we believe. And also, we are inspired by some scientists which have many researches on the Circadian Ring. Because the people living on the earth for more than 7 million years. And the last 7 million years, the natural light was really encrypted in our human body. And this we call it the Circadian Ring. And the connection with the light and the Circadian Ring was being formed and being proved by some scientists. And we see that in 2017, the Nobel Prize went to 3 scientists which have wonderful contribution on this light and the circadian ring. So now we understand and we have the purpose, we find a purpose that we can use the light as a service. And the people today, I think that we understand that most of the people are living in the 90% of our time, living is under the artificial lighting. And actually the artificial lighting today we have is actually really destroy our health, our wellness. Why? Because it's fixed color temperature and the fixed brightness, and which doesn't make sense compared to the nature light, which is dynamic. From the morning time, noon time, and the night time. It's totally different spectrum. And even today, most of the artificial light also have very, very bad color rendering, which really damage our human bodies. And we consider that's the window and that's the purpose for us to use light as a service and to solve these issues to improve our lighting environment. So our vision is actually we want to leverage this together with the smart technology to make the light could be dynamic, to make the light to be digital, and also put together this research together with the light and the circadian ring, light and the emotions to really make this to be a wonderful, valuable solution for the lighting for the people. So I believe the light and the scene, these applications will really heavily impact the industry and really lead the whole industry to the next generation and the next step. But how can we make it? I think that we need to learn from the Apple, how Apple used the smartphone to redefine and to reshape the whole mobile phone industries. So we build up the 3 pillars for these products. We have devices, the hardwares, including the lamps, the luminaires, the sensors, and the light management system. And we have the content. This content is the many of the lighting recipes which can support the people in the different space, in the different time, in the different when they're doing different activities, and we can use the different lighting recipes to satisfy either the emotions, even the visions, even the human bodies, the biologicals. So I think it's for different purpose that we can use the different lighting recipes to satisfy this. And also we need to run all of this on an IoT platform. And Apple, you can see this App Store, is iOS, is this and that. So I think that we also need to build up something very similar to this. And also we need to build up some key competence to support these 3 pieces. First of all, we need to have the lighting fixtures, which as a vehicle, a device, can play all of these functionalities. The recipes. And also we need to have the light source. We have the wonderful range of the spectrum and the selectable spectrum to support the different purpose, different applications. And also we need to build up the drivers, the sensors, to really in between here and there to sense the ambient and to understand we need to compensate or decompensate this from the light recipes for the certain lighting recipes we want to have. And also we need to build up the lighting recipes that we have to do many of the researchers together with the hospitals, together with the universities, and also we have our labs to build up many of the lighting recipes. And also we need to have the IoT platform to support all of this, and not only for the end users, also for the professional stakeholders. So we define the role as a lighting players in these connected worlds. The StrongLED build up these devices, contents, and together with the light as a service platform, and really make us can be capable for both software as a service and the platform as a service, these architectures. And exactly, we are working very well together with the Tuya to make all of this happen. And we have now the mobile app, we have now the web page, web for both of the software as a service and also the platform as a service. And we'll keep developing more and more solutions and optimize more and more users interface here and there. And this is what exactly our infrastructures. We have the switches, we have the mobile phone, we use the laptop or use the desktop to build up the setting, this and that. And also we use the switches, the mobile phone to run and to play all these things, the lighting recipes and what exactly we need in a daily use, day-to-day use. And in between, we put together some sensors because we need these sensors to detect the ambient. And now we have very wonderful sensor, which is our own invention, is the light sensors, which can detect the brightness, the lux from the from the 0 to 30,000 lux, and the correlated color temperature from the 2000 K to 7000 K, which I think is the most wonderful lighting sensors in the market, and could be very affordable to install in the buildings, in the space. And also we are now leverage even more and more sensors together with the Tuya ecosystem, like smoking detectors, like detectors for the humidity, detectors for the thermal, for the temperature, for the to really put together all of this in the space, in the building, to make our ecosystem to be more comprehensive. So here you can see some examples, like in the meeting room, how our system works. If we want to have a system to really, we can say this, the very similar to the nature. First of all, the lighting system have to be dynamic. Dynamic on the brightness, dynamic on the full spectrum, on the even the frequency, even different factors. So we use it as a example. Like you can see in a meeting room, let's say in the very beginning, if you need to have all of the attendees, the participants to be concentrated, then you can play a lighting recipe to be concentration. Then exactly immediate, just a couple of seconds, everyone will just feel concentrated. And then if you jump into the opening agendas, then you maybe need a relaxation lighting recipes to have an opening. And then in the discussion, maybe again you need to have the concentration lighting recipes. And at the end, before the closing of the meeting, maybe you need happiness to get to some conclusions. And it's dynamic. It's always you can jump to this and that to make the environment to have a different emotions. And also in the office, like from the morning time to the evening time, at a different time, the ambient light. In the office, you can build up this this system, this lighting recipe to really fit the people's different when they have in the different time, what kinds of lighting recipes is good for them. Exactly this, like for the circadian. And also, as an example, for the care centers, in the morning time, in the daytime, in the evening time, in the night time, you can build up the different lighting recipes, and even to make build up the different emotions and the different lighting recipes to have an impact or trigger different emotions. So put together all of this infrastructure, and this we call it light as a service. And we can redefine this lighting industry by these essential value-added services. And we can also use to redefine the roles in the lighting industry value chain. Today, the lighting players, the manufacturers, we sell the products to the distributors, to the end users, and we sell the product via the specifiers, via the through the lighting designers. But we are lacking of the users' experience from the end users, and we don't know how they use our light day to day. And also, if we want to improve, and if we have something already improved, it's not easy that we can upgrade and immediately to make our clients to get the latest technology, to enjoy the latest performance. But today, what we cannot do, tomorrow, put together these infrastructures, the smart lighting, to make the light as a service, then we can really improve this. Tomorrow, we have the direct access to all of these end users, and we can have the real-time feedback from the end users' experience. And it's easier even for us to build up the brand loyalty by this connectivity. So I think that today, what we cannot do, put together this smart lighting, then we can do many of this, and we can enjoy more and more value from this system, and together with our stakeholders, our distributors, and also our end users, now we can make light to be more valuable. Thank you. Together, let's define the smart lighting.
This is Lawrence. Thank you for listening. So I saw some of the friends, some of audience have some quick questions. So maybe I try my best to answer. Do this. Okay, so I saw some of the audience have some questions to that have some interest to understand that compared to the traditional lighting, and also the together with the small lighting, what would be the biggest challenges on the installation? So I think our ideas on the smart lighting, actually, I think that we will mostly use the PLC functionality, the power line for the on-off functionalities. But for the setup, for the setting something, for the run all of the system, actually we are heavily dedicated to use the wireless technology, especially the Zigbee and also the Bluetooth mesh. And actually now, according to some of our experience for the installation, it's actually running very well. So I understand that there's still have some of the people's really concerns about the stability of the wireless solution, but I think put together with the right setup design for all of the environment, for the gateways, for the devices, I would say the Zigbee and even the Bluetooth mesh can run very well, smoothly in all of the systems. So I think the biggest challenge is, maybe you can say that they still have many people, they have many concerns about the installation. And I saw some of friends audience has really have more interest that since they may know StrongLED was very successfully on the outdoor architecture lighting. So here you can see, I have shown the screen, there's some very, very big and successful projects in especially mostly as you know, still mostly in the mainland China, but all of the mainland China. And even we have some project in Taiwan and also Singapore, also running very, very well. So in these kinds of the outdoor architectural lighting, I think the StrongLED was very, very successful, which we have more than 3,000 projects already in the market and still running very well. And as you know, in the outdoor architecture lighting was more dedicated on the colorful and the design put together with the landscape, the shape, the city lighting. So it's very, very different agendas compared with the indoor smart lighting. So now we jumping into the indoor smart lighting. There will be very, very different situations and different agendas. Also, I have seen some audience have another questions, which is concerned about that how to expand our portfolio to put together with some other smart home or smart building systems. I think, like I say in the presentation, actually we have we can leverage how we can leverage together with the Tuya ecosystem, like in smoking detectors and even humidity sensors, this and that. I think it's really to help us to easily leverage this to build up a more comprehensive smart home and even a smart building. So I think now we are still developing more and more products to work together with our lighting systems to provide our designers and also the end users to have a more great users experience for this. So I think it's so far this is now the questions I have seen. Let me see if they have more questions. Okay, I have seen some audience have quick questions to ask us if we have the product to sell on the Amazon. Actually, the good news is we will launch the US market in the second quarter of the next year. And actually, we will launch on Amazon, but unfortunately not yet. So we will do it, but I think that we need to do all of this go-to-market step by step. And I've seen some audience ask, what is the role of the Tuya automation in outdoor lighting? Unfortunately, I'm not Tuya, so I cannot answer for this. Sorry about that. Let me see. Okay, so I saw that some audience asked, what is my comments on the cooperation with Tuya? Actually, I think Tuya is really to support us, but I think that we do need to understand that Tuya is a company which is have many of experts on the infrastructure of the IoT to enable our products to be smart. But how can we use all of these products, including the software, including the hardware, including even the contents? I think that still we need to heavily rely on ourselves, lighting players, real manufacturers to define this and that, and then ask Tuya to support us. So my experience to work together with Tuya have very wonderful experts can support me. But the issue is I have to define it clearly, and then they will satisfy me and our team to make everything happen. And so far we are now already have some very good products in the market already. But now, unfortunately, still only available in mainland China and Taiwan, but we will launch very soon in US and even more markets. So, okay, so I think it's more questions with the Tuya, but I think all the questions against Tuya, I need maybe questions to have the answer from Tuya later. And I've seen some audience asking if we can use this in the street lighting. Actually, we do have some research on this issue, but I think the street lighting is more outdoor and not that much human-centric. So it has more have very different agendas, more like our architecture, outdoor lighting. But the system-wide, I think the concept could be used definitely, especially this infrastructure definitely can be used in the outdoor, but maybe the content and the device, we have a very different portfolio. Okay, so we have seen audience ask, could we identify the specific role of this kind of the lighting projects apply in the individual apartment or house? So I think actually I think it's a good question. So I think all of these applications we can use the install in the most of the indoor lighting the projects, especially I think which is the most of the indoor lighting the project is really mostly try to solve the issue and very focused on the human-centric. So I think because of the people, when we in the different space, in the different time, and when we're doing the different activities, actually we do need the different lighting solutions, different lighting scenes to satisfy our different purpose for the human, like for the visual purpose, like for the biological purpose, or even for the psychological purpose. So I think we can say that, like I say, the current existing lighting system, which we are using day to day, which cannot be dynamic on the spectrum, on the brightness, they are all not healthy. So then many of these regulations, these standards from the WELL standards. I think that maybe you can check that. But how can apply, how can really make our products could really support people to be, not only for get the certification from the WELL standard, but also really living well in all of in the different space. I think it's really important, especially let's focus to solve the problems for the circadian ring, and also the problems for the emotions. And for the background lighting, I think mostly we need to more focus on the circadian ring, but maybe put together some lighting recipes for the emotions management. But for the working and for the activities we are doing, for the more individual lighting, for the very personal individually, then we need to more take care and concern about how to use the different lighting recipes to provide the good impact for the emotions, even trigger the emotions for the relaxation, even provide the lighting recipes to trigger the emotions for the concentration or even the happiness. I think it's really really important for us. Yeah. There's some audience asking if we are available for the Nigeria market. Unfortunately, not yet, but I think maybe in the near future, I think that probably we can do it. Yeah. And, I think it's okay. So I think it's some audience asking what the research shows how lighting can affect our. So I think actually we have did many of the experiment, especially we work together with some hospitals and some institutions, institutes. We use the functional MRI system to scan our brain when we provide the different lighting recipes. And the lighting recipes, I think should combine the 4 key recipes, 4 key factors, which is spectrum, and also the frequency, and also the intensity of the light, and also the time. These key 4 factors can really use the different recipes and combinations. And we used it when we have the different lighting recipes get into the people in the functional MRI, then we can scan the brain to really see how the response, how the feedback to reflect the impact from this lighting recipes. So I think and then we use the the lighting recipes which have a very obvious impact for the emotions, and we build up something like in the music, the do re mi real project, and we also build up some design tools for all stakeholders as designers to design all of this. So I think therefore it's very wonderful, and we have very I think the very solid base experiment to support all of these lighting recipes. So okay, so there's a quick questions that asking if we have the products for the UK market or EU. Actually, we are preparing to also launch the product in the EU, but I think probably that would be the second half of the year in 2022. And actually, I'm traveling to Europe in the next 2 weeks, also to meet some of our team there to doing some preparation. Good. So I don't see questions. So is there any questions? Okay, so there's audience asking the spectrum, the frequency is supposed to be relative to using the physical field. Yes, it is. Yeah. So, and also we have very many experts working together with us. So I think in the future, I think that it can not only be used not only used in the general lighting. I think that for the treatment for the medical purpose, I think we have some finding, and I think later I think in some professional medical solutions, I think also probably that we can have some more solutions for that. Okay, so I didn't see more questions for me. So is there any more questions? So if there's more questions for me, so maybe the colleague from Tuya, maybe that would be that's it for today's presentation, this session. Good. So I think if there is no more questions for today, this session, so maybe then we can this would be the end of this session. So thank you everyone for your participation. And if there's any more questions, then you can send to the email address that shared by Tuya. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your attending this participate this session. Thank you. Have a nice day.